Welcome back there, friends. We had a good one there in map number 1. For a moment, it looked like Luminosity was just going to run away with the first half, but Envy definitely fighting strong, but are not quite able to make up the deficit in a 13-10 win for Luminosity on their map choice. So, Avril, thoughts overall were, again, really good moments from LG early, but Envy still looking pretty darn resilient as we look forward to Bind coming up next.
And a massive carry performance coming through from Thief as well, dropping 28 kills. He nearly had a 30 bomb there. Massive rounds in general. You saw the kind of damage that Thief was able to do on a majority of these. A couple of highlights coming through as well. Again, the early rounds favoring LG massively. At this point in time, it's a 5-1 scoreline. Envy didn't really start coming back until a little bit later. Now about, where we are on the replays. This is about when Envy start picking up more rounds. They still end up exiting this first half 5-7. So LG still maintaining a lead in that second half as well, picking up the pistol again, getting the anti-eco again flawlessly again as well.
And it's just one of those things that, for a moment we talked about how when Envy were down 5-1, they really needed to find a way to get it to 6-6, right? I mean, LG was more prevalent statistically on their defensive side. And, well, that eventually did showcase itself, but there were a number of really tight looks where you thought maybe for a second Envy were going to start to kind of turn the tides around and just completely run away with the second half as well, but not going to happen here. So we turn our attention over to what's going to be coming forward here for Bind. This will, of course, be Envy's map pick coming up, and I would say rightfully so, as they've been very, very good on this map. A total of 6-1 so far, just since we got into the VCT, and a lot of those were blowout wins. A couple of 13-1s, and outside of one loss they suffered to Immortals in the grand finals from the open quals, they have been dominant on this map so far.
I gotta say as well, not talking about 13-1s or 13-2 blowouts, but how about a 13-6 result? It's still fairly one-sided, still fairly comfortable. That's Envy's last result versus Luminosity here in the quarterfinals of the open qualifier. That's the last time Envy and Luminosity played, was a 2-0 in Envy's favor. Not gonna see another 2-0 here, at least not from Envy. A situation where LG only picked up 6 rounds on Bind versus Envy. In a situation where, 4 of those came from the attack. It was a 4-8 start for LG on the attacking side, then going to the defense. We finished up with only 2 more rounds. So Envy dominant across the board. Crash is playing what is now almost a signature Sky that he likes to bring up for this map, but not going to be for now. I mean, he brought it out versus LG before, but he's actually moving back towards the Sova. So I'm a little unsure about what Crash is kind of mind here is in terms of his thinking of what he actually wants to play, because the Sky seems to be working pretty well for the team, but obviously not going to be bringing it here today.
Yeah, they've tried a handful of things, and again, I go back to that grand finals of the open quals versus Immortals. We talked about the Breach coming out when we played on Ascent. That didn't seem to work out for them, and then after finding success against teams like Luminosity, Roosters, and Take Flight, they don't find as much success with the Sky versus Immortals again. So when they played up against Sandbox yesterday, it was a Sage that came into play with a Raze that would make an appearance instead of the Sky. So that seems to be kind of what Envy have found success with against Sandbox, and they seem to be favoring that stat line as they come back into this map. So yeah, we have seen largely a big absence of Sky. I think a lot of it, great for information gathering, but can you really find value off the agent beyond that? And it seems like the most overarching conversation for a lot of the teams that gave them a try before was, yeah, no, we don't really need it. It's not a requirement, and maybe it's not nearly as favorable as we were led to believe after the Winter Champs and maybe even some of the results that we saw during the open quals.
I mean, even hearing what Lex was saying on the cast yesterday as well, a lot of teams have been practicing Sky, playing more of it in ranked as well. Crashies, I think, being one of the key Sky players across all the very good teams at the moment, so to see him kind of shy away from it is a little bit surprising. The rest of the team is mostly going to be playing the same thing here. Mummy has been playing Jet previously on this map, will actually be going towards the Raze, which is actually a little bit more meta. Food staying on the Sage, obviously, which is going to be one of his key picks, as Envy walking up over towards B long, looking for a split B play. Just the 2 defenders over there between Moose and a Proto.
Envy's attack on this map has been nearly unstoppable, and a lot of it has been because of this play that we're seeing out of the Sage. The walls blocking off key locations, essentially isolating the play, and then Envy take advantage of that. But the spike's going to come down quickly. You've got Dre trying to work on the backside as he tries to work to make sure that Envy stay trapped on the site, but they do have an exit, and take a look just at your minimap. The 2 players wrapping all the way around through C long, or pretty much through B long. So as the retake is coming here, you've got to try to get these kills cleanly and be able to find the first blood. It is traded back. We're going to go even all the way through, but eventually Caboose He's able to get all the way around through Hookah, leaving Moose by himself. He'll be paranoid. This would be a 1v3, but Finesse comes through, makes good on it. And Envy's retake will be there from that side of Hookah.
Just holding your breath, waiting for Finesse and Caboose to make the long flank through B long into Hookah. They find Dre. If Dre even gets one kill there, that could be quite awkward. Just slowing down the flank entirely. But eventually, Finesse and Caboose will get the cleanup required. And LG, I mean, I thought Envy were maybe taking a while to get their flank going, but LG really took a while to get the retake going as well because there were a few more members on site to really clear. If LG found the timing there, obviously they didn't know a big flank was coming, but if they actually were able to go a little bit quicker, they would have managed to dodge away from Finesse and Caboose, get a few more kills on site, maybe have a few more plays alive. They will be able to finally win that pistol anyway in terms of looking at Envy, who weren't able to get a single pistol on Ascent. That story has now changed.
4 players initially to take a look over to see what happens at B, but you still have Caboose who's lingering over towards the backside of A. Not a lot of pressure so far. Envy really kind of being diligent about clearing angles, making sure they stay safe, and maybe beyond that, seeing if they can catch an LG member off guard. Paint shells in the corner. Nobody there. There is a player nearby, though. You've got Thief, who's hiding right behind
Long.
the bottom side of Hookah. And the playthrough Long is going to actually isolate out Stellar. He'll drop for first blood. Envy on their take coming through. Clean. Maybe they'll find 3, 4, and 5, all flawlessly done for Envy's take.
And everybody was on B as well, so this is even more impressive from Envy's POV because, I mean, it's not like they just got a site for free. We saw LG do that on Ascent a couple times during these anti-ecos for Envy. They had to fight through everybody and just simultaneously SEAL Team 6ing their way through, just, you know, one by one, taking down LG, who will now have their guns available, so this is going to be the important round. And only 3 kills strung together. Dre and Thief having a bit of a slow start here in terms of 2 of the higher impact plays that we saw in the previous map. Proto, consistent as always in the top right now. Let's see how well these guns do. It's still going to be Stinger plus 4 Spectres on the side of Envy after the Flawless. Straight through onto A. It could be a bit of a tempo.
Crashes will find some information onto Proto. He'll be tagged by the Recon Bolt. Needs to, again, just wait for a little bit of help. And, well, he's not going to really be able to freely wait as he does get pressured out by a lot of utility. Recon Bolt was also in place to make sure that Envy could cleanly zone off this A plan. They've done that successfully, at least so far. LG, a 3-2 split, 2 up top by Heaven, 3 down low in the connector. And again, Sage Wall needs to be broken. There's going to be an attempt. Food taking an aggressive angle with the Stinger. Will find one. Mummy taking place where he left off, able to find a second. And now, Stellar, ooh, through the dark cover, actually confirms onto Crashies. Proto has actually slipped through a lot of this setup. He'll find one elimination. 2v2 we go. Both players paranoid and caught in dark cover. Diffuse coming up for Stellar. He gets it to halfway. Now the challenge, though. Mummy, Caboose lock things up and Envy win the first 3.
And you see Envy coming through very quickly over towards A. Fast Light using the Sage Wall, taking control of Lamps almost instantaneously. Finesse on the long flank over through into Shower. Back over towards A short as well. Forcing close angles, by the way. I mean, if you're playing in towards Lamps, LG on their retake, they have to get close. They have to get into the, you know, perfect range for these SMGs to really do the damage. And eventually playing through the smokes and covers and all of that as well. Looking at a situation where even though LG have pretty good utility to try and clear through Lamps, you're starting to run out of time. You got to get past the wall. You can't really use the long range advantage of the rifles anymore. So 3 quick rounds for Envy. It's starting to look like another potentially one-sided buying map, especially with this kind of start. LG unlikely to win this round. It's going to be a Bucky, 2 Stingers, 2 Sheriffs in play, so I'm not going to see some real guns coming through for LG until round number 5.
Can they be punishing, though, defensively to make sure that Envy doesn't get too comfortable financially? That's really the big question here. And let's be honest, LG has been known to win some pretty cheeky, thrifty rounds, but a lot of it has been, you feel like, on the backside of things like a Bladestorm. That's not going to be available here. So they would have to confirm kills before Moose really considers pulling out this Hunter's Fury, you feel. And defensively, it'll be 4 players over to B, and then just the one of Dre lingering over through A mid. They do have the help of a Cam that will be nearby just to try to see if they can get a response, and Envy will actually pull back through mid-market to eventually approach A.
I'm looking over towards Finesse and Caboose as well. Camera's being pinged right now, so they probably see something. Dark covers and Paranoid's flying on in. Your boy Dre for 1 kill, looking for a second. Can't connect the headshots. So it's going to be a 1-for-1, and this is where Envy should be able to get a plant. 3 on the retake now for LG again. Not great equipment value. In fact, there's still only 1 Sheriff here. It's going to be 2 Stingers. No, 2 Sheriffs and 1 Stinger for this retake.
And look how much space Envy has cleared again. The Recon Bolt, Dark Cover, even the Boombot being sent to make sure that LG will not have an attempt to just freely get over and retake this site, but out of heaven they come. 2 players down low. Stellar and Proto, the 2 first contestants. Finesse watching the corner. Also on the bench, there's 1. It will be a 1-for-1 trade, but Finesse able to find the second kill. Thief can't make good on the 1 tap, not just once, but also the second time, and Finesse will find 3 kills. And Envy survive with 3 as they find 4.
The thing I was really looking for Envy as well, the one thing they hadn't really tried was any sort of showers control or play through showers. So that's where Finesse and Caboose were really working up for that previous round. Getting some decent success there. Good plays by Dre to at least get the 1 kill over towards short. Can't convert onto a second one, although I don't know how much work that second one would have been able to really help as well when you consider the retake was just, in terms of at least equipment value, again, 2 shifts, 1 stinger. Not going to be the greatest. Finesse cleaning them up, but this is going to be the big round. This is the one that LG need to get things back into motion. Otherwise, they're down 5. Otherwise, they're also in a situation where they're back to a broken buy.
Aldrone, actually, I believe, had been paranoid up, so not a lot of information there. And as they come through the cyber cage, Proto's good for 1. The resurrection will be confirmed. Shock Dart also the Nexus. Stellar's able to convert. Also has the Hunter's Fury from Moose, and they will find a significant amount of damage and 2 kills. Most of it traded back away. The spike is still in hand, so we'll go 2v3, and Moose will make sure that this play is confirmed coming to be with the Aldrone. He will get what he was looking for. Bounce pass off the corner. Beautifully placed. But he is not able to convert damage initially, but it's fine. Thief and Dre, who are a little bit healthier, 1 from one side, 1 from the other. They clean things up, and LG get on the board.
And LG can be patient there as well. They can allow Envy to plant. They have the recon available for the retag. The shock even lands perfectly. Nails Caboose, drops him down to like 1 HP, and then the retake coming through from LG through Hookah as well, converging, collapsing on the 2 remaining members of Envy. You saw, by the way, the wall coming down from Food this time wasn't going to be the wall over towards the APC truck. Doesn't cut off the side of Showers to give them the free plant. Had to use it over towards the lamps because there was just so little safety walking on towards A. So Envy feeling a lot more pressure in that particular round there. At least they got the plant down. That for the extra money is pretty decent. They had to res there as well. So technically LG had to kill 6 players. The other 4 ultimates still available for MV, and Crashes and the rest of, or rather it's Moose and the rest of LG. Stopping the initial plant onto A was so huge.
Moose was hoping to be able to get this ultimate orb, but he'll be shrugged away just by some spam shots that come to the dark cover. Spike is being left over by the cave system, lingering towards the backside of A, so this is, again, just Envy searching for some intel, and maybe an elimination, but Crashies a bit left on the shots through elbow and a bit low on the player stacked on top of the box. That's Stellar who's there.
A little bit more Showers control coming through from MB this time as well, but not going to commit over to it. Thief on the runner back, barely spots the shoulder as it dives away over towards Caves and Market. So not a huge amount of information other than the fact that Hookah's completely clear. You did see that MB backed out towards A again, and obviously when the runner back is over, Thief is back in his original position. Now the paint shells are going to fly through. This could be a lot of damage.
But it will be a teleporter play back through. So it's going to come out to Hookah. Thief is able to find 1 kill on exchange. That was Food, who initially was by B, but then took the long teleporter up top. Stellar good for 1. Moose there for his trade. We go for a 2-for-1 exchange and a 4-for-2 situation favoring LG. Thief has teleported right back over to the middle, but his presence may not be required as Crashies is stuck on the site. He does well to find a couple of kills, but LG still win their second round.
Super awkward place for the spike as well, just barely dropping out of Hookah. You would have to come into the line of sight of everybody. And the 2 alive over towards B as well, working off each other. Moose for the swing, for the trade, like you sort of mentioned there. Master kill from Thief, I think, over towards A short to just kill any stragglers. Make sure there's not going to be any lurk to prevent LG from making a successful rotation, either through the teleporter or otherwise. So now stringing together 2 rounds in a row. Envy is starting to feel the pain of the economy. Not everyone can afford this time. No jet for the Blaze Storms either. Both teams will be shying away from that particular pick. So looking over towards ultimates. Showstop is available for both teams, and could be the difference maker now.
We know Dre likes to get aggressive with the showstopper plays, but will he execute that defensively? He's currently positioned over towards A. Envy initially looking for information the other direction to B. Mummy going to do his due diligence here to clear out Hookah. Stellar will make life a little bit more annoying by tossing a dark cover. That'll stall a little bit of a hit, but not significantly hindering the ability for Envy to get into Hookah. And maybe they're looking to execute here pretty quickly.
I saw the Sage. That's important because you see the Sage coming through as well. You know the hit's going to come in. Let me know the showstopper. Can he get a kill? Misses barely. That's a roast ult, unfortunately. And we still have 4 alive. So to LG. Showstopper now available for Drake. Looking to probably pull this one through in a second.
Paint shells right on top of Crashy. Thief also spamming. They now turn it into a 4v3. Here comes Drake. Mummy trying to challenge and will force the suicide, but it'll go 1 for 1, so it's not a finesse. He will make sure the rest of the defensive hit does get locked down. Stellar will be revealed by the neural theft, and Finesse finds 3. And how good have both of our Cypher players been today? My goodness.
Well, Finesse stepping up big time, and he's had a multitude of multi-frags. Not the first round. There was another round a little bit earlier when they were playing on towards A. 3 kills there as well. So out of his 8 kills, 6 of them came from just 2 rounds. I think the scoreboard right now across both sides of Proto and Finesse. Most of the ultimates have been expended now. Like I said, the suicide unfortunately coming through from Dre, but we'll at least get 1 kill. 5 rifles still available for MV as they are just barely still ahead by 3 rounds at the moment. Small comeback from LG over the past 2 rounds. And as we head into what is now round number 8, again, the money is just not good. It's 1 stinger for your boy Dre, pistols for everyone else.
Go get him.
First blood going to be confirmed, though, for LG. So an opportunity with this defensive push through to market to do something special.
Wow.
Moose finds him 1 tap of his own. Shock dart to make sure there's not a challenge. Secondary one comes through, and as Steve finds the Phantom, he actually finds Finesse off screen. So how about this all of a sudden? LG! It's Moose for another! He's gonna find 3! Unbelievable! Not only is it a thrifty, Avril, it's a flawless thrifty for LG.
Yeah, you never see those. That almost never happens. It has to be LG playing out of their minds. Envy being caught out. Probably a little bit of both in this case as well. What huge share of shots coming through, especially from Moose you see over towards B. I mean, that's disgusting. He has 3 kills. And it just all connects. The guy is incredible. I just can't really believe what I saw there. Flawless, thrifty. And a bunch of free guns as well. That means their economy now is not just bounced back, but it's looking very healthy.
Wow.
Deploying drone.
I mean, that's just... I think arguably you say that can't happen, but it does. And LG all of a sudden, they gain themselves a lifeline defensively. Moose will connect on 1 of 3 shots out of his Hunter's Fury. Metal tag Food down pretty low, but of course with the healing orb, he will mostly be able to self-sustain himself. And now it's down to Envy to make a decision what you want to do. There's really no ultimates on the table. You're going into a full gun round, and it's going to just be down to who uses utility better. Stellar will, again, tag up a little bit more.
Food.
Moose trying to make sure that the outside by shower stays safe. Good for 1, not a second, as Caboose and Crashies will come to life. A 3-for-2 exchange with the spike planted gives the Envy an advantage here defensively on their post plant.
Still got a number of kills here, but look at the HP here. Food's literally on 1 HP. You have Caboose on, you know, effectively the same here as well. No heal for a while. They got 2 ultimates to play with. Hunter's Fury could be important, but need to find the right position to use it. Drake's going to clear out lamps. No one's going to be there to challenge. Stellar's on the... Or rather, it's going to be... Who is it? Caboose on the other end.
Oh,
Thief,
no.
I think he flashed himself. That's really disappointing. 1v2 now. Bunch of low HP, and the Thrifty gets confirmed by Envy. Again, low HP, that they had, like, food or nothing. Caboose still gets rezzed in just for the economy. That was super winnable for LG, and I think Thief just... He barely kind of screwed it up for himself.
Yeah, he gets... He maybe thinks he's going to get a marginal flash. He gets full flash. I mean, that doesn't shrug off until he gets into that tight corner just outside lamps. And at that point, the gunfight's already lost. And that's the difference maker, because as you mentioned, Food was down to critical HP. Caboose wasn't much better, and that's enough time killed to where Food can get a second healing orb off, gets him back to around half HP, and then the last 2v1 is favorable just barely enough, so Envy respond back with a round of their own. 6-3. Early from the shadows, that's from Caboose, just trying to see if anyone is rotating early. He actually is going to stick this. That'll clear a lot of space up, and Envy will get an additional plant, but LG's retake, if they can find Caboose, and it can come from 2 different angles. There is the run it back. Caboose was never seen. Playing a little bit of defense is Stellar, and he plays defense so well, able to find the first kill. So now you're looking at the 2 players from LG through showers on this retake. They need to find a way to pinch this up, and Envy, they're a little trapped just outside. Here's the Hunter's Fury. Stellar's gonna find another elimination. The second challenge, Dre finds one more. They know exactly where Crashies is, and LG again, clean, just down to Finesse for a 1v5, and the trap wire will reveal his position and result in an easy trade away for Stellar to get his 3rd kill in the round.
There's a lot of one-sided rounds coming through here. I mean, LG with another flawless coming on in. Stella with a great patience and good read, by the way, as well. You see a very dark, very deep dark cover coming through all the way into spawn. I mean, what purpose does that really have? I mean, typically someone would have to be there to actually use that dark cover. Someone's got to be close by, so Stella reads it well. Knows that Caboose could be lingering around, holds the body or the respawn point of the runner back that was used by Thief, and knowing that Caboose might go for something, Caboose does into the dark cover, and Stella keeps the kill, shuts him down. Eventually, LG come through for the cleanup, and sadly, you see the last skill coming on through. Finesse even eats a trap wide, gets his position revealed for Flawless.
I mean, really, it's just down to that initial exchange that happens outside A-Link. If that goes the other way in Envy's favor, that's not just one kill. That's a second one easily confirmed. So, into round 11 we go. 2 more before the half. Proto, wide peek. He's got help, though. It's Dre who's nearby. Caboose, they know he's stuck in the corner. Boombot gonna come through, has to be dealt with, and then the second challenge, good for Proto. Mummy, though, meanwhile, has gotten onto the A side, and he's actually gonna stick this plant behind the barrier orb, giving Envy an opportunity maybe to convert this 4v5.
Crashies is offside now. Crashies thinks this all could be the possibility of a flank coming on in. That immediately leaves less players on the actual site for the post plant. So Envy, 3 on site currently. Could be a big flank as well. I mean, Crashies are still coming on through. Proto looking across the corners. One will be revealed. Food goes down. No more heals available. Low HP for a couple more members. A Proto for a nice headshot onto Mummy.
Unreal.
Finds a third onto Finesse even. And finally Crashies will arrive, but on critical HP. Timing isn't good enough, and a Proto has cleaned up everybody for 4.
Wow. I mean, talk about the conditioning, though. I mean, LG largely actually has not been playing retakes from the flanks, not by A. So maybe a bit puzzling that Crashies pays so much attention to it initially in what I was thinking was going to be a pretty decent 4v5 situation with the post plant. Envy essentially make their numbers even more dwindled by not able to committing Crashies to defending against the retakes. So Proto with 4 in the round. The cyber cages allowing him to kind of traverse further forward, and then a couple of special shots get him on 12 and 7. Last round of the half, and Envy in a bit of a broken by situation here opens the door for LG to tie the half.
It's an incredible start. I mean, again, a 4-1, 6-2 as well. It's at one stage, no, 5-2, I lie. Now looking at a situation where LG could very well tie this one up, especially looking at the equipment value. Tagged up as Moose down to 23, can't get healed, no Sage on his team. Going to deal with that a little bit later on. Here is Steve for the swing. That's actually Spike confirmed as well. That's a huge amount of information.
Oh, man. How many of these opening gunfights have turned the tides of these rounds, though, Everett? It feels like out of the last 5, at least 4 of them have been dictated by who walks away with first blood cleanly. Will this one be the case here as well? 5v4 situation. Again, Moose was tagged up pretty low as he tried to make the opening operator play, but he did retreat back to a AR that was left over by Elbow, so he'll have a full weapon to still play with. The hit from Envy looking to come through mid.
We got Proto. He's been flashed up though. Proto cannot challenge this one. They will be able to get into labs probably clean. I say probably because the Proto still gets a kill. So 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day will be a plant coming on in. No res, by the way, will be available this round. So Envy, the 3 that they have is the 3 that they will have for the rest of the round.
Crashy's holding lamps. Nearby is Food, and then playing the opposite angle through showers is Finesse. Curveball comes in. That'll put Crashies back a little bit further forward. Shocker does find a lot of damage, but the paranoia follow-up is brilliant. Thief able to find 1. Slow Orb will deny him the ability for a second, but it's another big numbers opportunity, and my goodness, these shockers have been so good, but it's Finesse out of the showers. He finds himself 2 plus the reload, nearly gets the 3rd. One of those shots connected for a headshot, still around 6 health. Might be feeling fortunate to be alive, and LG, they tie up the half 6-6, and we'll head into our halftime pause, trying to consider what exactly needs to change for Envy to send this to a map 3.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Another tight one here, Avril. We're tied 6-6. Again, LG up 1-0 in the count right now, but this is Envy's map pick. The only big real thing to note here is the fact that Envy on this map, largely an attack-sided team, not to be, you know, unbeknownst to their defense, also very good, but they're definitely more favorable on their attack, so a 6-6 half is not bad for LG fans. Opening exchange happening to Hookah will actually also allow LG to come away with first blood.
Take flight.
And that's the thing, getting the kill onto Food as well, also not bad for LG fans as
Enemy.
first blood found, no more heals available for Envy. Wall came down early as well. Here comes the push though, Mummy, and
No more.
who else is it? Crash is walking down, and look at the shock dart onto a Proto. So we talk about a 1 lead in terms of player kills, so that gets balanced out.
Yeah, it's a really nice isolation and good timing because LG were already rotating through mid-market, so there's no chance for help. But now as the Aldrone scouts out through lamps, Luminosity make their way onto the A site. Paranoia will slow things down. Caboose looking for a retake, but he walks right into the heart of LG's take. Another Paranoia also being sent up this time from the offense. Finesse able to find 1 kill in the exchange. 3 for 2 situation. Dre, good for 1, and Stellar there for the help. Right clicks, headshot onto Crashies. LG take the pistol, and a marginal lead up 7-6.
Yeah, going straight over towards A. They, you know, got a kill over towards B. Didn't want to go through the wall. Lost another player as they backed out. We get the push down where Mummy and who was it? Crashies walked in. Beautiful shock bolt placement. The actual hit over towards A is what we're talking about now. So that's going to be pistol handed over to LG. LG have won 3 out of the 4 pistols that we've seen over the 2 maps. Anti-eco coming on through as well. They had some pretty darn good anti-ecos in terms of looking at what LG have been doing. No one's forced so far across either map either. So take a look at what Envy can do now on just the pistols. Info over towards B for both Hookah and also into Long. Really clean, which means they can now stack over towards A.
And just kind of going back to the first time that Luminosity Envy played, Luminosity only found 6 total rounds. To get 6 in the first half just kind of goes to show the adjustments and improvements that have been made. Hot Hands will actually zone off the A link here. Thief is making his way forward. Mummy's going to read this information off the recon bolt, but Thief is able to still find 1 kill, and beyond that, the overall exchange of damage does tilt in favor of LG. Dre also able to find Food on the flank, a quick hit flank, but it comes through unsuccessful, and now Luminosity, in really what is a 3v2 1/3 right now.
The wall slowed them down. Look at this timing now. They can't get to B on time. They start to rotate and realize there was a wall. Like, who put this here? This is ridiculous. That was actually Food. And they have to double back. And as you see Finesse on the map looking through Hookah, yeah, they know. They know it's back onto A, which means I think Mummy's going to have to TP. It's going to come down to Crashies by himself from now. Recon's going to follow through. They won't see anybody backside, which means it's got to be Lance.
Mummy, running gun, able to find Crashies. Nice headshot lockdown. Finesse trying to play for the backside at market. And remember that Mummy is down to really about 1 bullet worth of health. He's going to play through the connector. Yeah, 16 total HP in a classic. He does connect 1 shot, but it's a tickle for Dre. And this is going to be a very difficult 4v2. Finesse is going all the way through caves. And again, with low HP, you just don't really figure that there's going to be much of an opportunity to get this retake online. There's the first kill through the corner, and now Finesse hoping he can find maybe an exit kill. And he might not even be rewarded that.
There's a trap wire in front of him as well, so he's not even going to bother tripping that one up. Just looking to see if anyone will walk through A short. Yeah, not going to be a single person. Swings really late. Probably has to teleport. I mean, there's no point dying. Yeah, dying, he even just loses the frenzy. I suppose, just remember, guys, dying doesn't give you an ult point anymore, so just seeing if anybody could be around, but no one's going to be there at the end when the spike actually explodes. So a bit of a sad death there for Finesse, as he is not going to have his frenzy anymore, but that's not what he wants. He wants this Phantom. He wants the rifle. So heading into round 3 now. Pretty clean overall coming through from LG. Not a flawless, but will take what they can get in terms of keeping most of their players alive. Minimal rebuys here. 5 Spectres versus the 5 rifles now of MV.
So what's going to be the set play here for Luminosity with just Spectres in hand, I think is the real question. The spike will be left right in the middle of the map. Yeah, looks like they're trying to play for that. And there it is. There's the play coming through, but the flash, again, Thief flashed himself off of that curveball. I second-guessed for a second just to make sure that the paranoia had not been tossed. No, that was a full-on curveball flash. We've seen that, I think, arguably too many times. Moose will respond to 1 kill, gets a headshot onto a potential second, but as he tries to take the challenge, Food is there to help out. And now it's down to Dre, and he only comes away with 1. So, self-sustaining will be Food in a 3v2 here for Envy defensively.
I'll tell you what, Thief playing the Reyna means he can't actually flash himself, so it's kind of like a kitty lock. It's there for your own protection. It's really the only thing he's stealing right now is his own team's chances with those self-flashes. The play you were asking for was actually going to be LG taking the orb, getting the runner back, doing something with that. Now this is all falling apart for LG. Not that we really expected a huge amount coming through from 5 SMGs versus the full 5 rifles at MV, but at this stage in time, Stella would like to at least maybe pick up 1 gun in terms of an upgrade. There's possibility over towards B. It is being watched by Food, so as soon as the head walks in, as soon as the cross does come through, expecting Food to pick up this kill, no issues.
Your tactics fail.
There it is.
Easy long-range shots, Food for 3. Working towards an early resurrection. Just needs 2 more points to get there. And Envy, more importantly, take their gun round, and they do it relatively cleanly. Yeah, a couple of exchanges early, but for the large part, everyone will be mostly okay. Mummy will get purchased for it, so everyone will, for the side of Envy, be fully armored and fully equipped. And on the opposite side for LG, of course, expecting the same thing.
Part of me actually feels okay about them losing that round because now Thief can actually have his runner back for the important round, which is number 4 here, with both teams have guns. And Thief will get the runner back the hard way by dying in the previous round, but this is where everything actually counts. A couple more players are actually fairly close towards ultimates also. So a couple away, I believe, who is it for your boy Dre over towards Showstopper. Food nearly has a Riz as well. Mummy also has a Showstopper in just 2 ticks, and a very similar wall to what we saw early on. Does get broken straight away though, so it does force out an extra slow orb. I'm not a huge fan of the early walls, typically because it just ends up being wasted like that.
Oh, this is good. Moose gets the tag off onto 1, nearly gets the second bolt. Actually, he does connect the second bolt. On a Finesse who has to go away, and now Thief from the corner, but it's Mummy for 2 required as he was trying to help out the push from Hookah coming to the teleporter. That's a nice isolation for Envy, keeping things to a 3v3, but now the rotation aggressively coming to A. The only problem with this for Luminosity is that your spike is going to be so far delayed that actually Food might be able to contest point of contact here. A little bit stuck at the moment, but this is going to slow down this hit even more, allowing Envy a chance to rotate in to stack this A site defensively.
Stella's going to have to do the work now. Stella has to do everything. Flash going to come on through. Paranoia might have actually been dodged out. I don't know that Finesse actually got caught by that. Certainly isn't going to be able to catch the fact that Mummy's already into heaven. There it is. Showstopper finds a Proto, and instantly we got problems. Big ones. Now for LG, as we're down to about 20 seconds, the plant must come through. Moose is in the middle of the entire site. Will somehow still be alive right now, even after being tagged by Tracking Dart.
Yeah, the darts have been so punishing. Food on the flank, trying to trap. Just down to timing, gets the kill. Now it's just down to Stellar for a 1v3 situation. Really, at the moment, kind of pinned up inside a lens, but actually gets a little bit of help from the recon bolt from his teammate who had fallen. Also knows that there's going to be one around the corner, but can't lock down Finesse. And Envy will tie this game up at 8 apiece with the defuse.
Really interesting round that came on through. I mean, the slowdown coming through from Food ended up being pretty worth over towards B. The extra slow orb just to make sure that nothing else was going to happen. The consolidated swing as well with Mummy and Caboose come together over towards the teleporter. The Paranoia initially is not going to really hit, but after Caboose dies, Mummy gets the cleanup, gets 2 kills, which then allows the Showstopper to be earned. The Showstopper then being used over towards A, having to get a 3rd kill. So you can start to see how much of these kills are able to be earned by Envy. The fact that, you know, the spike being carried so slowly on towards A, the teleport from Food, despite not really using it to, I mean, he didn't get a kill off it or anything, but just the slowdown of the spike plant was enough.
So now Luminosity need to make something special happen with just pistol upgrades, and Mummy will draw first blood with the paint shells. Some tools available for Luminosity, but losing that first member will likely mean that nothing will be pulled unless they can somehow find a way to collect some weapons, which, again, if you're Envy, you just cannot even push anywhere further forward. Just don't allow that even a chance to happen. Nice bounce passes coming through. Goodness, how good has Moose been with these shock darts?
There's a heal available. Caboose would have to go over towards B, though. Oh my god, speaking of shots being connected, how about that one from a Proto onto Finesse? No Cypher action today. We are going to have LG backing away from A. They have runner back available, comboed with the Hunter's Fury if they want to go in that direction, but they don't have the equipment. It's just about Stingers now. I think Thief might actually still want to potentially go for it. Here it is. Yeah, the runner back on the Stinger. Just check for who's alive on the site. It will go back for the Resurrection onto Finesse. So if they read that correctly, they'll know that there's probably only one person here, and it's going to be Crashies.
30 seconds
Crashies
left.
misses the information, though, completely on this transition from Hookah onto the site, so the spike will go down. Dre's able to find one. Will that be enough to try to hold? Moose gets another. Able to stay alive. Good help from Thief coming through. Has to go back to the Sheriff, though. Not able to make use of it, so now it's just down to Proto as the exchange will favor Envy. And that will be enough. Finesse finally gets the kill, but a punishing round for Luminosity. Not bad if you're an LG fan, but still the overall scoreline will favor that of Envy up 9-8.
We have 3 kills, though. 2 rebuys, including, it was technically 4 kills. Remember, there's actually a res in there as well, so the res comes in pretty importantly. You normally wouldn't expect that a res has to be confirmed on a round where LG have minimal equipment, but the damage was so extreme coming from LG, even though they lose the round. Consider they also planted there, so was it a successful eco? I'm going to say probably, yeah, definitely. As the guns are going to come through. Mummy is on 0 credits over here. You have a lot less money on the side of Envy than I'm sure they'd be happy with. They have to also deal with the fact that LG have 3 ultimates available now after having to also confirm the Resurrection the last round. It's going to come down to Crashies on the Hunter's Fury as the only massive thought.
Aggressive play from Envy. Moose finds the first. Mummy will respond, but has to back down. Moose trying to still condense. There's going to be a little bit of help there. 1-for-1 because the last 1v1 turns up in favor of Dre. So the full exchange, pinstriped as it may be in the kill feed, it's now a 3v2, but Caboose continues to bounce back and make sure the numbers stay even. We're in a 2v2 situation, but the spike will make use over towards B for the side of Luminosity.
Yeah, I said Thief because potentially 2 isolated 1v1s were about to happen there. Finesse nearly walked into the line of sight of Thief, and Thief already had basically full site control while everyone else on his team was kind of dealing with the aggression coming down B long. Thief was all the way through Hookah, onto site, completely cleared it. Now the retake coming through from the rest of Envy. 1 in Hookah. It's going to be Finesse. Caboose as well coming through from long. 2v2 showstopper still available. Dre up first for contact.
Dre checking. He's going to, again, hold off Envy
One
for a
enemy
time. There's the
remaining.
paranoia and immediate call to hit the triggers on the showstopper. And Finesse, he actually walks largely into the initial explosion of the paint shells as well. Dre will find 3, and after a chaotic opening, it will eventually be the 2v2 with both members surviving from Luminosity to tie things up.
Actually, a little bit of a weird play there from Caboose as well. If you're going to paranoia onto Dre while he's got the showstopper out, I mean, his response is that he's just going to shoot straight away to where he thinks you're going to come from, which is the direction of the paranoia. They could have actually waited out the entire showstopper, I guess. That being said, though, time definitely wasn't on their side. A high-pressure scenario, to say the least, there for Envy. There's 9-9, like you sort of said here. We've tied things out once more. A 6-6 start. Another 3-3 looking at the second half. Another early wall about to come down for food. There's also going to be Operator being picked up on the side of Envy. So we'll see if anyone is going to walk into Mummy early on. It could be 3 people. Could be 4 indeed.
Gives up the scope angle as soon as the Aldrin comes out. LG are starting to push forward. Good first kill. Going to be some help from the Hunter's Fury also potentially to get involved, but no, it's actually going to be LG who get the better part of the first 2 kills.
Exactly where you are.
And so for Envy, a 3v4 situation. The neural theft has also been spent, and this will be likely a free take here for Luminosity, but Food is doing his best to stay annoying with these slow orbs. It will force LG back through elbow, and it gives Finesse an opportunity to get a little bit of help.
They can't plant yet because they don't have Hookah control. Finesse is still on the site, like you said. So the tube for now. Stella is holding onto the spike, and the longer they have the spike without planting, the more time it gives Envy to try and get numbers back on here. They're still waiting for Caboose to maybe swing through. Coming through via the teleporter. More kills are coming in now. Finesse is slowing things down. Food might be dead, but Finesse has got himself 1 kill. So 1v3 now. No gun on the ground for Caboose. He's going to have to try this one with 1 paranoia.
Could have sworn I just saw a Vandal right behind him, but may have been mistaken. My old eyes not nearly as in tune as they used to be. Caboose, as he walks in, finds himself in no man's land, and Luminosity find the easy kill. So now 10-9 up. But the question that starts to be posed here for Envy, they've got a lot of tools available coming forward. The only thing they're missing really is going to be the weaponry.
And part of the early issues there, if we go back to the last round as well, I mean, you see Mummy coming through on the Operator towards B long. Now, if he was on the Jet, gets a kill and dashes away, that's a very different story. On the Raze here, you get a kill, you try and jump pack away, you're still kind of flying through the air just slowly enough. You can get taken down mid-air, which is exactly what happens. He's kind of hoping that there will just be one person pushing up. Sees the initial push from Thief, gets that one kill, but he knows there's at least one more other player. So unfortunately, he'll just be taken down nice and early. It also does come down to the Hunter's Fury, which was pretty nasty as well from Moose.
Yeah. Well, Luminosity, again, we talked about how this is not their map pick, and last time they played Envy, they only secured 6 rounds. I mean, the adjustments, if you were one that was watching that matchup, I mean, they have been night and day different on this bind. I mean, they've played much more controlled, especially offensively.
Deploying drone.
I mean, the number of flawless rounds that we've seen from Luminosity in collective between the first 2 maps has been darn near astronomical, kind of exhibiting that little bit of restraint and the extra polish that has been put on since those open quals.
Dark cover coming through, by the way, from Caboose super late, so you've already got 2 plays from LG beating the timing. Spike's about to come on through as well. Yeah, they know it. So here we go. It's going to be from the shadows. B has completely been taken at this stage. Crash is trying to slow things down. The Hunter's Fury gets a kill to Dre. It's not bad. Hookah control in favor of Envy. A showstopper coming through in our moment as well as Finesse picks up a free gun.
It's a weapon upgrade.
30 seconds left.
In what will be an NV 4v3 with still a showstopper available. And you can kind of just tell off of the minimap where all these deaths have been. Envy very well could take away some pretty steep positioning. Luminosity will be allowed to get onto B. This should be a plant. But Mummy wants to contest, comes out with a showstopper, puts it by default, but sneaking in is going to be enough to deny the ability for the kill, and Moose responds to Mummy's follow-up. So now a 3v3 and a lot of the big kill potential for Envy's retake off the table. Stellar clears out the backside of Spawn. Now it's just down to this hit from Hookah, and Spycam won't read it. Proto able to find one and Moose the other. LG hold on, if not just barely, but they find themselves up 11-9.
Yeah, needed to see the kill coming on through from the showstopper. If it wasn't for that, I mean, look, it could have been a 1v1 towards the end there. Finesse has a gun. Food's trying to bait for him as well. Envy had some possibilities. Crash is buying time over towards the defender's spawn. Unfortunately, he doesn't have much to work with, so that flank gets taken care of. The showstopper doesn't connect. Finesse only gets the 1 kill on the retake, even though he gets a free kill onto Thief towards Showers to pick up the gun in the first place. And LG now, similar to what we saw on Ascent, 2 away from actually winning the series, not just winning the map now, but getting the whole thing.
Oh, man. And Envy, who have been in a number of grand finals since really the First Strike finals came through. I hate to call it an upset because everyone keeps calling an LG win an upset. At a certain point, you can't be sleeping on LG anymore, but it's just the caliber of opponent they keep finding themselves against and the wins that they keep finding. But this time, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Envy has found first blood, so it's going to be a 5v4 situation in Luminosity, who we're really not using that as a commitment to Hookah. They now need to consider how they want to make this 4-man hit occur over towards A. It'll be the Aldrone first.
Don't worry, look, LG like it when you call it an upset because they like to be underestimated. That's their power. That's how they win right now. Finesse in a good position. They're straight down, even through the smoke. It doesn't matter. Finesse, the headshots are right there. And Stella now 1v5, Spike in hand. Gets tagged up as well. No paranoia. Not really much of a hope now. Envy, they're going to get 10 off this. It's going to be 10 to 11. So LG close, but not close enough in terms of getting towards that match point.
30
it's
seconds
not going to be 12 just yet.
And a flawless round here from Envy is exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, it allows you to have the economy to get to a potential overtime or just steal this map away, I think, is the other real frame that I'm kind of considering here of not just getting 10, but then maybe 11, putting LG in a financial troubling spot and then potentially finding 12. So
left.
There's a lot of opportunity here, and a lot of it will come off the backside of this flawless round, pending they do still lock that down. Stellar making his play forward to Caboose corner. That should be the kill, and it will be. It's Food from the opposite angle that gets the confirmation for the kill.
And you're looking at the money situation as well. LG technically have enough, so question would be why doesn't you know, Stella try and save there. Well, I mean, technically, if he gets a kill onto anyone on Envy, it does a lot of damage. If Envy have to rebuy, I mean, look at Envy's money right now. If anyone has to rebuy, that's going to be painful. So going for even the attempt for a 1v5, it's not really an attempt to win the round anymore. Just getting any sort of kill for Stella would have been really painful for Envy's economy, as they're only just starting to recover. So like you said, getting a flawless is very important for Envy to still have something to play with for what will be the last few rounds, and keeping LG at bay, who are still 2 away from match, winning the entire match, 1 away from match point. Envy 2 away from potentially tying this one up, or to actually prevent LG from even getting towards match point. Envy 3 away from winning the match and sending us to split.
Yeah, Finesse had 21 kills as well. Again, just kind of attributing to how good both of these Cypher players have been, not just today, but collectively, really all throughout the VCT opening stages here. Crashy's just double checking to see what exactly is happening in the showers. He will tag 1 and also see that the ultimate orb has been collected. So for Luminosity, who still have the spike mid map, it just comes down to reconvening and deciding what exactly they want to do for an execute.
Food by himself over towards B. Wall's going to come up over on the B long side of things for the early info. Camera there and Hookah as well, so pretty safe for Envy to put most of their eggs over towards A. They do have a resurrection here, so Food needs to stay alive. Food is actually on site itself, so if a fast hit comes through from LG, you better hope these slows are effective. So otherwise, not having this resurrection could be quite painful for Envy, because now it comes down to LG. Here comes the 8 shells, and soon the hit to follow.
How good has Food been, though? Again, knowing the time on the clock, just tosses one slow word, then another, finds the first kill. Dre, does he check his left? No, not fully. Food finds the second elimination. Now trying to spam, hoping for a third, but it will be denied. So no resurrection in play, but time a problem. Finesse, able to get the information off the trap wire. The spike carrier that's down. You've got to find a way to get these kills and get the spike planted. But Crashies is still contesting. Proto by himself. Does he have enough time to plan? He sure will not anymore. It's just down to the kills! And Proto, how has he managed to do that? That's the only play that's available to him, and it's really not a play that he wants to make, but still somehow converts 4 kills, and LG are on match point.
Envy, like, what was Mummy doing there? You see Crashy's trying to back away, gets killed into Hookah. Mummy is still hanging on site. At that point in time, they know they've won. He can't plant. Mummy just has to stay alive. The only way Proto can win in that situation is by finding all the kills within the last 4 seconds. That ends up being the play that works. I thought there was no way LG was going to be able to make that happen, and now match point has been secured.
That's one of those, what was all that 1 in a million talk? You're saying there's a chance, and Proto says that's good enough. Oh my goodness.
Just don't tell me the odds.
Exactly. Caboose opening shots, able to take down Caboose before he can get the shrouded step away. Mummy literally caught in a corner. Will have to try to blast pack through. Thief finds the elimination. And now they run it back. LG 0 to 100 real quick. Checks the corner. Finds the kill.
Oh, this is it. We're done.
Beyond that, the spam shots through the dark cover are good for Dre. Finesse, flash player left. And LG confirmed the match off of a flawless. Why would they not? 2 13-10s. And LG move on to the winners finals.
I can't believe my eyes here. And I mean, look, Luminosity do it in the flashiest way possible as well. The final round of the half of the map of the entire series. Once again, we don't get to see the third map between LG and Luminosity because it's always a 2-0. And last time was Envy getting the 2-0 over Luminosity when it really counts here in the closed qualifier. LG cleaned up Envy on Envy's map pick here as well. A map that was a 13-6 in favor of Envy the last time they met, and now a massive turnaround and a flawless round to cap it off at the end as well. What is going on? A Proto in that second to last round, getting the clutch when the times run out. That just should never happen, but there it is. Yeah. Crashes and Mummies couldn't stay alive, and LG, keep underestimating them, keep sleeping on them. Is this still an upset win? Maybe. And you keep, if it's going to be upsets all the way through, I think Luminosity just win the entire tournament. Just keep calling it an upset, and LG win the whole tournament.
So do we collectively just continue to say LG are being slept on so they can continue to just, you know, be in nap time as far as how we're considering things? Because every time that we do, I mean, they've just played so darn well, man. And again, this is one of those things that collectively throughout this entire series, there are moments where you see Envy's resiliency. They're down early in Ascent. They string back a couple of really solid rounds. And even on the bind, a couple of really tough decisions that have to be made are absolutely called correctly for Envy to give them what looked to be a pretty solid advantage. But we talked about the fact that last time these two teams played on bind, it was a 13-6 in favor of Envy. LG finds 6 rounds in the first half, and then fireworks from that side on when it comes to the offense. That 1v4 really there for Proto. I mean,
jeez,
it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
One for the history books for sure. That's going to be, you know, look, I know we're going to have a play we'll be looking at later on in terms of what is it, like Mike and Ike's play of the day, you know, this week.
That's up for it.
That might be it. I think we found it. I think that's going to be it. There's no other play. I mean, if I'm going to put one into the hat, that's the play of the day so far. That was incredible. I can't believe my eyes. And now LG in the winners final. Look, there's still games left for them to play. There's still a tournament left for LG to play.
Yes.
It's not quite done. They still have to get through an upper final to get to the grand final. They've now taken down 2 of the tournament favorites here in terms of Sentinels a little bit early on yesterday. There's a 2-0. They take down Envy now 2-0. Up in the upper final, waiting to see the results between Immortals and Gen G. And there's no reason Luminosity can't win that game. Realistically, at this stage, I think Luminosity have got the road to the grand finals basically paved in front of them.
I mean, the opportunity is wide open. You're on the highway. Open that sucker up and see what you're able to find out of the engine there, because LG's looking great. But before we go on, again, we're going to be staying with Envy when they play up against XSET. But if you're having a hard time hearing what's going on, you need to find yourself a pair of HyperXs, because Legendary Comfort comes hand in hand with HyperX products. And if you don't like the hassle of a cord, which I'm starting to learn those ways here, Avril, the Cloud 2's now wireless, built to be an ultra comfortable gaming headset with obviously amazing sound. And it's really no wonder that it's become obviously the preferred gaming headset for millions of gamers all the way through. I know that you and I, Avril, are both HyperX stands without question. I prefer to cast with in-ears in because I can hear myself better, but I've got these on deck all the time. I know that you do as well. We had that nice little promotional plug yesterday.
We're going to show them again today. This is happening again, guys. Yes, it is happening again.
It's happening. I personally love the little red flare, but they're super durable. I've only owned a pair of HyperXs. I had one pair, it lasted me like 5 years, and then as soon as the cuffing started to get a little bit too worn down, I was like, all right, time to get a new one. Got myself a new pair. Those are going on year number 3. Perfect. So make sure you're taking a look at HyperX as we now head things over to a break. As we come back, though, remember, we've got more fireworks potentially in line because a team that you're hot on, Avril, XSET, will be up next taking on Envy. Don't go too far. We've got more Champions Tour here with the Challengers Closed Qualifiers coming up right after this.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
Contrast stitching, curves that'll hug your body, adjustable arms, custom embroidery, memory foam pillows, changeable color inserts, lay flat, recline, removable logos, soft, durable material. Yeah. Like what you see, baby? Zip chair.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On its way, sir.
Sounds amazing!